Australians are dealing with two new deadly strains of a bacterial killer. A killer that knows no borders, needs no passport, and travels undetected.
TB has been the greatest scourge of mankind ever.
1/3 of the human population is infected with this organism. Every second, a new person is infected throughout the world.
About one person every 10 seconds will die from TB around the world.
Tuberculosis has been present within the human population since antiquity. Egyptian mummies as early as 2400 BC showed definite signs of tubercular decay. It wasn't until the 1940s that scientists got the jump on TB, when they discovered an antibiotic called streptomycin. Since then, many drugs like isoniazid and rifampicin have been developed and make up part of the cocktail of drugs used to treat the disease. In Australia by the 70s, it was thought that large-scale vaccinations, X-ray screening and drugs could virtually eradicate the chances of contracting TB. But the menace hasn't gone yet. TB is rapidly spread through aerosols. A single cough can expel up to 40,000 droplets. Once inhaled, the bacteria are normally barricaded in the lung without causing respiratory symptoms. But the organism is cunning. It escapes attack from the immune system by hiding in the very cells that are meant to destroy it, cells called macrophages. Live TB bacteria can lay dormant in macrophages for decades before it causes trouble. It's only when the immune system weakens that the organisms awaken and begin to replicate. They punch holes in the air sacs of the lung and can infect other organs.
Classic symptoms of tuberculosis are respiratory symptoms, so chronic cough, weight loss, night sweats, production of sputum and coughing up blood.
Sounds like a flu.
It's a flu that goes on.
Alarmingly, a new multi-drug resistant strain of TB is on Australia's doorstep. It's already a big problem in East Timor, PNG, and now Torres Strait Islands. This new multi-drug resistant strain is emerging because patients have failed to properly take their medication.
Jim, still coughing?
Dr. Graham Simpson is a Cairns-based respiratory specialist who spent years understanding the complex nature of TB. His intimate knowledge has led him to assist treating TB sufferers from PNG, who travel by motorboat to his clinic on Australia's Torres Strait Islands. Some may ask why you're putting Australians at risk by bringing infectious people over to Australia.
You can't expect the doctors up there to just let them die. But also it's the correct public health response. If we don't identify them and treat them, that's when they're going to infect Australians. The last 20 years or so, we've run into big problems with what's called multi-drug resistant TB, which is defined as TB that's resistant to the two best drugs that we've got available.
That's why doctors require a powerful combination of 4 drugs to combat the multi-resistant TB. To make matters worse, a deadlier strain known as extensively drug-resistant TB won't respond to treatment, and death is almost certain. One case of extensively drug-resistant TB has already been reported on mainland Australia. The World Health Organization estimates that between 2002 and 2020, 36 million people will die from tuberculosis if it's not controlled. Fortunately, scientists in Australia are doing their best to find answers.
There are two solutions. The first is, of course, to develop a prophylaxis, so a vaccine for tuberculosis. And the second solution is to develop new drugs for tuberculosis. The last tuberculosis drug to reach market was over 40 years ago.
Thankfully, the genome of TB was mapped about 10 years ago. This gave scientists insight into what makes TB so resilient.
Tuberculosis needs iron to survive. It can't really produce it itself. It needs to be able to get it from its environment. It steals it from our body. So what we're trying to do is block a pathway which will prevent the Mycobacterium tuberculosis from stealing our iron. If it can no longer do this, we can actually kill the bacterium and we have a potential new drug for tuberculosis.
While Richard works on a treatment, Professor Warwick Britton is working on prevention. Beyond these doors lies the bacterial killer.
Have a date with the enemy.
Professor Britton is trying to improve the existing BCG vaccine, which has been in use since the 1920s.
We need a vaccine that's stronger than BCG and that lasts longer. So this is where we test the effects of the vaccines. We grind up the tissues and then we do quantitative counts
So you actually take tissue from the lung?
from the
And then
lung
bring
of
it
the
here.
organisms, bring it here, and we do two things. We count the number of bacteria, and here you can see individual bacterial colonies, and then we measure the immune response because we want vaccines that stimulate a stronger immune response and then give reduced bacteria.
So does that mean the less bacteria, the more effective the vaccine?
Exactly.
Professor Britton believes it's more effective because the new vaccine causes the body to secrete a hormone of the immune system.
This increases the activation of the immune system dramatically, and the immune system is then able to kill the organisms in the lung and prevent dissemination.
Traditionally, the TB vaccine is delivered just under the skin on the arm and can leave a nasty scar. But now Professor Britton has found a new way of delivering the vaccine directly to the lung.
Much the same as you can deliver drugs into the lungs in asthma by using puffers. You can deliver these dried vaccines deep into the lung where they stimulate a protective immune response.
Hopefully, with the development of these new treatments, this scourge that has coexisted with humanity for millennia will finally be eliminated. Till then, doctors like Graham Simpson will continue to battle on the front line, and it's a battle that must be won.
I think it is quite possible to control tuberculosis, but it's going to take generations, and we need to be committed to that.